welcome back to my channel. Today we are continuing on the topic of psychic abilities. We are going to be talking about claircognizance, which is clear knowing or psychic knowing. And I'm going to be sharing with you guys my 10 signs that you are claircognizant. If you guys have not seen the first video I made about psychic abilities, which is 10 signs you are clairvoyant, I'm going to link it down below. I suggest that you guys watch that one first. I give more of like an introduction into psychic abilities in that video and also share my personal experience with my psychic abilities, and then also go over the 10 signs that you are clairvoyant, which is clear seeing. I'm going to kind of skip the introduction in this video. I also suggest you guys watch that one because usually people have more than one psychic ability. So it's going to be really helpful for you to be able to identify which psychic ability or abilities you have. But today we are just going to be talking about claircognizant. We're going to talk about the 10 signs that you have this psychic ability. And really quickly, I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you so much and just send my gratitude out to those of you who have sent donations in support of this channel. I'm honestly just like really humbled that anyone likes my videos enough to feel inclined to do something like that. It does not go unnoticed. It is so greatly appreciated. I cannot thank you enough. Thank you to my new subscribers. We are slowly but surely growing this little family over here. I wanted to create a YouTube channel in the first place because I wanted to have my own little community where people felt like they could come here and actually fit in somewhere. I never fit in. I was always like the weirdo. I was always made fun of. People bullied me my whole life. Like, you might not think that, but it is true. So many people ask me when they meet me, like, were you a cheerleader in high school? And I'm like, not at all. The cheerleaders wanted nothing to do with me. I was not cool. I did not fit in. I was weird. And in middle school, I would talk about how I was psychic and I was a witch. And like, you can only imagine that, like, I was just like, I was a laughing stock, literally. So I wanted to create a community where people felt like they fit in and like they weren't judged and wanted to come talk about astrology and psychic abilities and tarot cards and spirituality and self-development and self-improvement. Like, that is what this community is about. That's what I'm about. So I'm so grateful that people have found my channel and that you guys enjoy my content and that we can have conversations in the comment section. Like, I actually have conversations with you guys about like spiritual topics that like I would never have a conversation about with people in my real life because I just don't really have a lot of friends who are into this kind of stuff. I don't really have a lot of friends, period. So I just wanted to extend my gratitude out to you guys. Thank you so much. It means the world to me. And we are going to move on before I start crying because I spent a lot of time on my makeup today. So thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. Truly, I love you. All right, so claircognizance, clear knowing, psychic knowing. I really believe that claircognizance is probably way more common than we probably realize. And that's because it can really easily get overlooked. Or we'll end up thinking, oh, that was a lucky guess. Or we think that we must have known that and we just don't remember. We must have learned that or been told that and we just don't remember. I also think that claircognizance can kind of be difficult to explain because the underlying factor with claircognizance is that you just know. You don't know how you know, but you know you know. When you try and explain that to someone, right? Like if you tell someone like, I just know, just trust me, I just know, it's a feeling. People are like, yeah, whatever. You know, you don't take it seriously. So I think that sometimes claircognizance can be really kind of difficult to explain to somebody else. But when we go over these 10 signs, it's going to make sense to you if you have this ability, right? And you're just gonna know because you're claircognizant. So as in the last video, these are really in no specific order. I have more than 10 signs written down, but I just try to narrow it down to the 10 that really stick out to me. So number one, the most obvious one is that you know things and you can't explain why. And this also has to do with coming up with answers and solutions and not knowing how you got there or why you got there, but you just know that it's the answer. You just know that it's right. And this feels like you know something, okay, because claircognizance is this inner knowing. How many times am I gonna say you just know in this video? But claircognizance is an inner knowing. So when you know something, you are going to know with every single bone in your body that it's true, but you've bypassed all of the logical thinking or problem solving that would normally come with, you know, finding out a piece of information or knowing a solution to something. You bypass the research, you bypass the logical thinking, you bypass the analyzing, and you just arrive at this point where you just know. A lot of times people will shrug this off as a lucky guess, or we will think, well, I must have learned that in the past, or somebody must have told me that in the past and I just don't remember. It's just this inner knowing. You don't doubt it. You don't have to overthink it. You don't have to analyze because you just know. So the second sign kind of like trails off of the first sign, and that is that ideas or solutions or answers or information just pop into your mind like a lightning bolt. So again, we're bypassing the logical thinking and the analyzing and the problem solving. You have this information that feels like it was just given to you. And again, you're like, where did this come from? How do I know this? It just appears. A lot of people who are claircognizant will find that their best ideas, their most successful ideas, their most creative ideas will come to them in a flash. And it's because, again, our intuition guides us and gives us the best answers, a better solution, and a better idea than anything that our logical mind could ever dream up. So you'll have these ideas or information just pop into your mind like that, and you will know that it is a great idea or that it is the right answer. If you are overthinking something, or if you're really trying to figure something out and you're not able to come up with an answer, you will stop thinking about it, forget about it, you'll go about your day, and then maybe an hour later or even a day or a week later, out of nowhere, you're driving your car and bam, it pops into your mind and you're like, you suddenly have the answer to this thing that you forgot about. Because again, that's just how your intuition works. It just comes to you really when you're kind of least expecting it. It just drops into your mind and there you go, there's the answer you were seeking. You don't have to overthink it. So number 3, this is common for anyone who has any type of heightened psychic ability, but this is that a lot of people come to you for advice. You're the go-to friend, the go-to coworker who people come to looking for guidance, looking for advice. And that's because people with heightened psychic abilities, people specifically who are claircognizant, you really are an old soul that's wise beyond your years. You have this guidance and this insight that you might have when you've never even gone through a similar situation, or the situation has nothing to do with you. But again, you're really just able to put yourself in someone else's shoes. You really have this innate knowing of what somebody is kind of going through, and the answers are very clear to you. People who are claircognizant, the answers to problems will be just made really clear, really apparent, and to someone who's claircognizant, it'll kind of seem like, duh, that's the obvious answer here. Like, how do you not know that? But it really is just this gift where, the obvious answer or the right answer is just really obvious to you, even though to other people, they might not be able to figure things out that quickly. You're wise. You have this really deep wisdom and knowledge that other people have too, but are maybe not as easily able to access it as someone who is claircognizant is. So if people are constantly seeking you out for advice, that's a very big sign that you're psychic and that you are claircognizant. But also a little disclaimer, you definitely need to set boundaries and be careful of people kind of taking advantage of that. So if you're not in a place energetically and emotionally where you can sit there and constantly give advice, put up a boundary, put your foot down, and don't be afraid to tell people no, because it's really easy to get carried away when people want your help. Like people trust you to tell you their problems, and they, respect you for the guidance that you are able to offer them. So just wanted to mention, be careful of people, being energy vampires. Sign number 4 that you are claircognizant. This is one of my favorite things about being claircognizant. And this is that you will have these moments where words of wisdom seem to just magically flow through you. And this really does feel like the universe or your higher self or someone, something, somewhere is giving you this information, and it is because you're channeling this wisdom, this advice, this knowledge, you're channeling it. But when you're claircognizant, it will flow out of you, and you'll even find yourself being like, where did that come from? Like, since when am I an inspirational speaker? So inspirational speakers, they are claircognizant, even if they don't realize it. So someone who is claircognizant will be able to just channel this information that is coming from their intuition, their higher self, the source of all things, and it just naturally flows out of you, fluently as if you really do have all of this ancient wisdom inside of you, but a lot of times even, you know that you don't really know where that came from. That didn't come from your logical mind. It came from somewhere else. And that is how you can really use claircognizance as a gift to other people, to really channel that guidance and those answers that people are seeking. All right, so sign number 5 is that you really love analysis. You love to analyze things and you really enjoy logical thinking. Now, I know this whole time I've said that when you're claircognizant, you bypass the logical mind, which you do, but it kind of feels a lot of times like it's coming from a logical place, like it's coming from your logical mind. But when you realize you're claircognizant and you start to really pay attention, you'll be able to distinctively tell the difference between your logical mind and between this information that you just know and you don't know how you know. So people who are claircognizant really do enjoy analyzing things. They like to explore their logical mind because people who are claircognizant are really deep thinkers. The mind of someone who's claircognizant is incredibly active. It's very busy, it's always going because there's so much information that's coming in at any given moment. So if you're someone that really does enjoy deep thinking, analyzing people, analyzing situations, analyzing problems, and really logically thinking things through, then that is a big sign that you're claircognizant. So number 6 kind of has to do with the previous sign, which is that your mind works really, really fast. Your mind is always going. There's always information coming in. And kind of one of the big signs with this is if when you speak, you kind of can't seem to keep up with your mind. So I know for me personally, when I read tarot cards, a lot of times I'll talk really fast, like quicker than I normally would. And sometimes I will stumble over my words, or I'll say a word incorrectly, like I'll pronounce it wrong, or I'll even like use the wrong like variation of a word. I will just have my speech get kind of screwed up. And it's because when you're trying to talk and you're claircognizant, but you're channeling this information and this wisdom, it is being channeled so fast and your mind is moving so fast that a lot of times your mouth can't keep up with it. And so when you're trying to speak, you'll be so lost in the information coming into your mind that you don't even really know what's coming out of your mouth because you're just trying to keep up. So someone who is claircognizant has a very active mind. Sign number 7 is that you receive downloads. Now, this is kind of difficult to explain if you are not claircognizant. So I'm going to, instead of trying to explain it, I'm just going to give an example of how it happens to me. You know when you zone out? Well, have you ever had one of those situations where you realize you were just zoned out and then you realize like I've been standing in my kitchen for 5 minutes, just standing here zoned out, thinking about something, like there's just been this information flowing in my mind. And now that I'm not zoned out, I realize that I've just like solved the world's greatest mystery or something. I will be like brushing my teeth and before I know it, I'll be like in my living room brushing my teeth, suddenly having this information in my brain. And that is what a download is. It literally feels like information has just been downloaded into your mind. You don't know where it came from. Like you weren't thinking about it and then you went into this whole like deep thinking. No, it literally just pops in your brain and it's downloaded, and within minutes or within seconds even, sometimes it can happen like that, you just suddenly know something. You know the answer, you know the solution, you no longer are confused about something, you can see straight through something. Now you like know the real truth behind what you were told or what you saw in the news or something like that. It's just suddenly downloaded into your brain. This would happen to me all the time. I would have these huge epiphanies, these life-changing realizations, these answers that would come to me out of nowhere, and they would be downloaded into my brain. And I had no idea where it came from. It wasn't until I learned the term downloads, these psychic downloads, where I was like, oh my gosh, that's what's been happening to me. If you're ever finding yourself that suddenly within seconds or within minutes out of nowhere, you just have this big pile of information downloaded into your brain. And again, you don't have to question it. You don't have to doubt it. You don't have to analyze it. You just know that it's true. You know it's right. You know that it's real and you aren't crazy. You're not making it up. Your mind didn't make it up. It was literally just given to you just like that. So if you experience downloads, telltale, giveaway sign, you could turn the video off. You are claircognizant. Number 8 is that you can easily spot a lie. Now, let me elaborate, because a lot of us can easily spot a lie. Duh. We all have intuition. We're all psychic. But when you're claircognizant, it's a little bit deeper than that. So not only can you spot a lie, but you will right away, without even knowing someone, knowing anything about them, you will be able to know right away if someone is trustworthy. So it's bigger than just being able to spot a lie. It's like you really will just have this inner knowing of whether or not you can trust someone. You could have just met them 10 seconds before and you just know. Now, also along with this, not only can you spot a lie, but now here's how you can really tell if you are psychic and claircognizant. Not only can you spot a lie, but you know what the truth is. Again, you might not even know this person. This could be a stranger to you. Someone could tell you something. Not only do you know they're lying, but you know what the actual truth is. And again, you don't have to think about it. You don't have to analyze it. You don't know how you know. You just know. So people who are claircognizant are great lie detectors, but it really goes a step further because you'll really be able to pick up on somebody's intentions, and you'll also be able to not just know they're lying, but know what the actual real truth is behind the lie. The 9th sign that you are claircognizant is that you love to read and write. So just like people who are clairvoyant will really be into like visual things, they'll be visual learners, they'll seek out careers in a visual field. When you're claircognizant, you will love to read and write. So you would rather read something than listen to a podcast. You would rather look something up in a book than have it be told to you, or even to watch like a documentary or a TV show about it. You would rather read. You would rather do the research on your own. And you also love to write. People who are claircognizant truly have a natural gift when it comes to writing. And even if you maybe don't love to write, okay, you're really good at it. You're naturally good at it. From a really young age, I was always a fantastic writer. My friends used to have me proofread their papers, and I could just write. You just, give me a pen or give me a computer and I can just go. It flows out of me. So someone who is claircognizant is a really great writer. You probably enjoy writing and you love to read, you love to research, and you would rather read than learn something in an alternative way. Okay, so the last sign that you're claircognizant, again, I have so many more I could go over. I tried to just narrow it down to the 10 that really stick out to me. And this is going to be kind of an interesting one that you maybe wouldn't have expected. And it's also one that's going to be really good to be aware of. And that is that you find yourself interrupting people quite often. I used to have a big problem with this. I still have a problem with this. And now that I'm aware of it, I really try and change it, because interrupting people can obviously come off as being very rude. But when you're claircognizant, you do not interrupt people because you're rude. You interrupt people without even thinking about it, without even meaning to, for one very specific reason. And that is because you already know what they're going to say before they finish their statement. So when someone's talking, it's kind of like you're 2 steps ahead. You already know what they're saying. They don't need to finish the question. They don't need to finish what they're saying. You already know how it ends, and so without even thinking about it, you respond. This is one of those really kind of like interesting signs of being claircognizant that you would probably have overlooked, or people would just think you're rude, or even you would be like, why do I keep interrupting people? That's a huge sign that you're claircognizant, and like I said, it's something that you're gonna want to be aware of. That way, you can, adjust it and maybe let people finish talking, because people do deserve to talk. It's not their fault that we can read their minds and know what they're gonna say. All right, you guys, so that wraps it up for the 10 signs that you are claircognizant, that you have the gift of clear knowing or psychic knowing. I really hope that made sense. I know claircognizance can really kind of be difficult to explain, and I guess I'll figure out if it came out right when I go back and edit this video, but I really do hope that this was helpful for you guys. I know when I discovered that I was claircognizant, it was a really huge light bulb moment for me, which is very typical of being claircognizant, but it really was like, oh my goodness, that makes so much sense. Like, I never knew what to call it, but I knew that I just knew things, right? Like I know, but I don't know how I know, and now I know it's because I'm claircognizant. So it was a really big eye opener for me when I was able to, you know, put a label on it and identify it. And it also made it a lot easier for me to then be able to determine like when I was channeling information and when I was just doing my own thinking. Another thing that I probably should have mentioned earlier, but you know, when you're claircognizant, it's really important that you really give yourself a chance and you really start to trust yourself, because when you know things and you can't explain why you know them, it is so easy to overlook it and again, think it's a lucky guess or think that you already knew that and you just forgot. So it's really important to, you know, in order to strengthen that muscle and really build your claircognizant abilities, it's really important to start trusting the information that comes in and really, you know, acknowledging it as that is information that my intuition gave me. I didn't know that ahead of time. It wasn't a lucky guess, because the more that you kind of validate your intuition and trust your intuition, the stronger it gets and the easier it kind of flows in, and you really are able to build a really great relationship with your intuition. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Leave me a comment down below. Are you claircognizant? I know I am. You guys, I'm so weird. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.